Hi! On the Woodpecker today, I'm going to show you how I built the skidoo trunk. In our all too short winter, you'll have more luck finding me steering a skidoo in the weekend than using a hand plane. But when I go on a skidoo trip, I need a backpack filled with clothing and food. I also need snowshoes and a shovel just in case. Then I have to secure it all with straps. This must hold for the whole trip and not break anything. Easier said than done. So this year I decided to build a skidoo trunk. I begin by digging out some old oak flooring planks. When I think I have enough, I remove the longest pieces from the pile and cut them to a more manageable size. Then I rip all the tongues on the table saw. Then the grooves. I end up with a lot of kindlings for my wood stove. Some pieces have hard varnish on them, which are removed using the table saw. When I'm finished, I make 3 piles according to length. Before gluing the planks together, I make sure they aren't too wide for my thickness planner. I also try to put the most damaged pieces on the edge. When I'm satisfied with the order, I turn them all on their side except for the last one. I pour glue on the edge, spread it with an ink roller, and align them with the varnish facing down. Then I just need to clamp them and wait for the glue to dry. When it's dry, I take off the excess glue with a paint scraper. Then I pass the glued up panels through the thickness planner. I always begin by removing the bumps from underneath the hard floor. I finish with the varnished side. It always amazes me to see the difference between a plain glue-ups and unplaned one. I always find it in nails when I'm using reclaimed wood. The glue-up doesn't look nearly as pretty after removing it. Now that I have several panels ready, it's time to take the tarp off the skidoo and take some measurements. Now I can make my first full-size side panel and cut it. I check the fit so I can make all the adjustments needed for the rest of the plan. I recut a new side pattern. I use that to arrange the panels and glue them together to make a larger one. Now that the glue is dry, I trace the side panels and cut them. It's easier to sand the panels before everything is assembled. Then I cut the other panel to make the bottom part of the trunk. Some pieces are cut at an angle. Some of those angles are made with the hand plane, others with the table saw. Now I'm ready to glue part of the trunk. I spread the glue, drill chamfer holes, and screw everything together. Obviously, when I check the next morning, the trunk doesn't fit on the skidoo. So I mark what I have to cut and cut it. Now I can begin to cut pieces for the top of the trunk. And install them. I drill holes for the dowel on the last piece of the back of the trunk. In each hole, I put a dowel centering pin and hold it in place with blue tape. I put the panel in place and mark the dowel hole with a mallet. I drill the hole by eyeballing the angle. I put dowels in the holes, glue, and screw the sides. Then, I stick blue tape behind the trunk on the seam of the two panels. I mix epoxy and add silica powder to thicken it. Then, I pour it in the gap between the panels. I glue and nail a lip on the top of the lid to hold the plexiglass. I make custom fit support for 2 pairs of snowshoes on each side of the trunk. Then I glue and screw them from the inside. In the end, it's supposed to fit like that. Yeah, in a perfect world. I install a shovel support too. I don't want to damage my skidoo suit, so I chamfer all the edges of the trunk. To make it look less like a sore thumb, I put black dye on it. I don't have enough varnish for the old trunk, so I'm going to use 2 types of varnish. Last year, when I was looking to buy spar varnish, I had trouble finding some. The clerk told me that it has been replaced with exterior water-based varnish. I finally find some and made a non-scientific test. So last year, I left this glue-up panel lying there. I brushed one side with spar varnish and the other side with water-based exterior varnish. After a year, it looks like this. My skidoo is always covered when I'm not using it, so I hope this will be okay. I decide to varnish the interior with water-based varnish and the exterior with oil-based varnish. After 3 coats, I add the accessories, like the bottom straps and the latch. I drill a hole on the shovel locking pin and try it. Then I tried the snowshoes too. Yeah, they don't fit like I had hoped. I'll have to live with it. To finish, I cut a plexiglass sheet for the maps. Put it in place and drill the latch. Then I find the center and drill a bigger hole. Okay, if I hadn't used a brad point bit, the hole would have been at the right place. Then I screw an insert nut. I just need to put my local skidoo trail map under the plexiglass and lock it in place. Finally, I can install the trunk on the skidoo. After putting it in place, I screw the back wind nuts to secure it to the back seat. I put the spare gas canister and the bottom. And I can even try the snowshoes and the shovel. Here's my new skidoo trunk. I realize this may not be the most popular item I ever made, but I hope we will see each other for my next episode of the Woodpecker.